Hello, world. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Hey, guys. Everybody good? Good to see you. It's almost Friday. It's almost Friday. Kimberly Molly, she's doing good. A lot of people has asked me that. She's okay. She's just taking a little time off to regroup and but she is still doing the meet and greet in, I forget where it's at. I'm sorry. So I'm sure one of her Patreons can tell you, which I'm one of her Patreons, but I just don't normally go in Patreon. um but yeah, she's still doing the meet and greet and all that. So yeah, guys, listen. Hartford. There we go. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Yes. So, I was looking at cases earlier. Something is really wrong in this country right now, guys. I'm not even joking. Like, something is really off, wrong, something. If I didn't find 15 kids that were murdered by their parents, then I didn't find nothing. Seriously, like, it's terrible. And it was either, and there was a lot in and that wasn't even like the start of it, guys. Like, that was just like not even really even looking hard. Like, they were just everywhere. And it boils down to, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Hey, Dr. Pepper. Hey. It boils down to drugs or a man who's not the father, you know. It's really bad. And I'm going to talk about a few of these cases that I wanted to highlight. We will keep up on them as well. So, yeah, they're very heartbreaking, Jan. Very, very heartbreaking. And once you see maybe like one or two of the stories I'm going to briefly talk about today, they didn't die, but sometimes the mental aspect of just, growing up to be an adult, it's just terrible. So, yeah. So this is by Law and Crime, and it was a mother charged after surviving failed murder-suicide that claimed the life of 4-year-old daughter at a Florida resort. Let me know if you can hear this, okay?
A Florida woman who allegedly poisoned herself and her daughter is now charged with the girl's death after surviving what law enforcement officials believe to be a failed murder-suicide attempt, authorities announced on Wednesday. Jacinda DeCaro, 26, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 4-year-old daughter Masila DeCaro, according to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Osceola County inmate records show that DeCaro is being held without bail and scheduled to make her first court appearance on Thursday. She is charged under the premeditated murder statute in Florida, which means that she faces life in prison or the death penalty if convicted.
Good.
There are no other charges listed on her inmate page. Mosila and her mother were discovered after a concerned family member called in a welfare check while the two stayed at the Star Island Resort and Club on January 10th, according to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. DeCaro had a faint pulse, her daughter did not. DeCaro was scheduled to make her first court appearance on Thursday, inmate page above via Osceola County Jail. The night of the murder, the suspect talked about suicide to several different people, told an ex-boyfriend that she didn't want to live. She also FaceTimed another friend the same evening and talked about not wanting to be here, said Sheriff Marcos Lopez. The doors were all locked from the inside when we attempted to make contact with all parties. Tylenol and liquid Benadryl were on the nightstand. Lopez said from the start that authorities were treating the case as an attempted murder-suicide. Possibly, she put some type of medications together, gave it to the baby, and then took them herself, he said back in January. Sheriff Lopez then revealed that DeCaro had contacted at least 3 people the night before she was found and expressed a desire to take her own life. We don't have details on if it was a mental health crisis, or if it was some sort of other things personally her life, added Sheriff Lopez. DeCaro had no history of mental health issues, according to deputies. She allegedly left a note at the scene that read, "I'm sorry." DeCaro recovered after a brief hospitalization, but is now behind bars after the medical examiner completed the autopsy of Mosila and determined intentional poisoning to be her cause of death. Jacinda DeCaro, pictured in handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit, declined to answer questions posed
She
to
looks
her.
like a kid.
Shortly after the arrest, Sheriff Lopez spoke about a meeting his office had with DeCaro earlier in the day. He said DeCaro was not responsive to questions. Today, we tried to question her to see what was her intentions or her mindset. She didn't want to talk, Sheriff Lopez said Wednesday, according to Orlando CBS affiliate WKMG. So we don't know what was going through her mind, or what she felt, or what she meant by doing what she did. Lopez then turned his focus to the victim. All I know is that there's a little girl who lost her life, he said. She wanted to take her own life, she could have. She didn't have to include this 4-year-old who hasn't even begun to live.
Look at this little girl. Just precious. Just precious. Here is her picture. Do you guys think that's mental health, or do you think it's just selfishness, or is it evil? What is your opinion on that? I just can't get over this. This is one that's really, really, hold on. I'm going to fix this screen. Guys, listen to this. A depraved, indifferent to human life New York man indicted for murder of girlfriend 2-year-old daughter. Doesn't he look wild? Doesn't he look freaking wild to you? Like, he creeps me out, to be honest. But this, the 26-year-old has been indicted after authorities say he brutally beat his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter to death at her home in January. While Brian Oschini was indicted for murder, the child's mother, Savannah Rubio, was indicted on 1 felony count each of second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide, in addition to 2 misdemeanor counts of endangering the welfare of children of the death of her daughter, Amara Campbell. According to the report from the Mid-Hudson News, officers with the Fallsburg Police Department and emergency medical technicians at approximately 5:40 p.m. on January 25th responded to a call about a child not breathing at home located at the 10th block of Phoenix Lane in Woodsburn. First responders reportedly found the child unresponsive and immediately transported her to medical treatment at the Garnet Health Medical Center, Catskills. She was reportedly declared dead shortly after arriving to the facility. A joint investigation into Amara's death was conducted by Fallsburg Police, New York State Police, and staff from the Office of Sullivan County District Attorney Megan, uh, I think it's Jillian. That's how you pronounce it. Authorities interviewed the both of them regarding to the child injuries and reportedly concluded that over the course of Monday, January 24th and Tuesday, January 25th, the boyfriend physically abused Amara and ultimately beat her to death. Rubano authorities reportedly said they knew he was abusing Amara and did nothing to intervene on her behalf, her daughter's behalf. Where have we heard that before? Seems like we've heard that before. These women do not stand up. I'm sorry. Like, listen, I get it. There's abuse and everything, but I'm gonna die for my kid personally. But whatever. He was initially charged with one count of a malicious assault in the toddler's death, but authorities reportedly upgraded the charge to the murder following a completed autopsy reported that concluded Amara's death was homicide. The latest document filed on March 4th in the Sullivan County Court further narrowed down the alleged time and the child's murder to between 2 a.m. and 5:45 p.m. on January 25th, according to the Times Herald record. Prosecutors reportedly wrote that he acted with a, quote, depraved and indifferent to human life, end quote, when he, quote, did recklessly engage in conduct with created a grave risk of serious physical injury or death to Amara Campbell, end quote. The indictment further alleges that Rubio unlawfully poorly treated of Amara dates back to nearly the girl's birth. He's just a man. And that's your daughter, girl. The filing reportedly claimed that he, from November 14, 2020 to January 25th, 2022, quote, did knowingly act in a manner likely to be injurious in the physical, mental, moral welfare of Amara Campbell, end quote, and, quote, did fail or refuse to exercise reasonable diligence in the control of such child to prevent her from becoming an abused child not in quote, child and neglected child and a juvenile delinquent or a person in need of supervision, end quote. Following Amara's death, Fallsburg Police Chief Simon Williams said the department would do everything under its power to ensure that justice is served in this case. Quote, our police community will bring to bear all of the combined manpower and resources to ensure the responsibility of this heinous act like this that are brought to justice, end quote, he reportedly told the Sullivan Times. The man is being represented by nobody cares. He has been held in the Sullivan County Jail without bond since his initial arrest. He is currently scheduled to appear in court again on May 2nd. He was arrested Friday and is also being held at the Sullivan County Jail. His bond was set at $100,000. She is next scheduled to appear in court on April 28th. It always has to do with drugs, or it always has to do with a man, or both. Or both. Now I would like to show you this. This is a little girl who didn't die. However, these three women that you see here, three New Jersey women accused of putting electric dog collar on a girl, shocking her and depriving her of food. Like she's some, these just look like ordinary girls. Crap, where'd it go? They just look like ordinary, women. But contrary, they're not. They are certainly not.
Well, Tracy, they are. Good afternoon. That neighbor says she was just grateful that she was home at the time and she was able to get police to respond within about 5 minutes or so that afternoon. She says the young girl was screaming and crying and saying that she wasn't lying. She has photos of this abuse, photos that prove that she had an electric shock dog collar placed around her neck. She went on to tell police that this abuse has been happening for years.
I just can't wrap my brain around, a dog collar is your dog lost. That's all I could come up with. And when she said she was getting shocked, that was it.
Complete surprise. That's how Karen Valek felt when a 13-year-old neighbor arrived on her doorstep last week. It was the middle of the day.
My doorbell's ringing frantically, and I open the door, and it says, "Help me, help me, help me. They're shocking me." And because I'm confused, I'm seeing the dog collar. She's putting it in my hand. And I said, "Is your dog lost?" And she goes, no, they're shocking me. Shows the marks on her neck.
Valek says that dog collar was still buzzing in her own hands.
I couldn't fathom, who puts a dog collar? First of all, who puts it on their dog, let alone on a child?
The Valeks dialed 911.
The police came in. She was taken to a pediatric hospital to be checked out. She was never returned to the house, and she's now in a foster care somewhere in Stafford.
The next day, police charged 3 of the girl's relatives with aggravated assault, child neglect, and endangerment.
She was skinny as a rail.
According to these criminal complaints, the girl was also deprived of suitable clothing and not given enough food.
I can imagine her getting starved to death, but all the other people are overweight in the house. So how do you like that?
For the girl's protection, we are not identifying her family members. Meantime, Karen Valek and her family haven't been able to get it out of their minds.
For days on end, still can't sleep. This is all we're thinking about.
She's just praying for justice.
Personally, have I ever been shocked by a dog collar? No. But I hope the judge that decides to do this tries it.
I love that neighbor. I just want to say I freaking love her because she said, personally, I've never been shocked by a dog collar, but I personally hope the judge tries it, meaning put it on those ladies. I don't know the circumstances of this house, why there was 3 women in there. But they did some really horrible things. I think it would scare us to know how many kids in this country is being abused right now. Just right now. It's just literally insanity. So, former Navy officer pleads guilty to killing 5-year-old daughter who was reportedly caged and tortured. It's literally insanity. Um,
Jacksonville, FLA, TCD. A former officer in the Navy pleaded guilty this week to charges relating to the death of her 5-year-old daughter, who was found buried in Alabama. The state attorney's office for the 4th Judicial Circuit of Florida announced Thursday, Match 3, that Breonna Williams entered the plea for second-degree murder. She could face life in prison in the Florida state prison system, but the minimum is 20 years. Williams reported her daughter Taylor missing on November 6, 2019, to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. She reportedly said the back door of her home was open and her daughter was nowhere to be found. Throughout the investigation, however, Williams became uncooperative with law enforcement and lied about several key timeline facts about Taylor. According to the statement, Williams traveled to rural Alabama a few days before reporting her daughter missing, and then went back to Jacksonville. On November 12, 2019, the Demopolis Police Department said they located human remains near where Williams had traveled. WJXT-TV reports Assistant State Attorney Lauren Anderson said in court, some of the recovered remains showed evidence of potential malnourishment, trauma, and disease. While searching Williams' home, investigators reportedly found bloodstains in several locations around the apartment, as well as feces, maggots, and dirty clothes in Williams' car. WJXT also reports there was a strong scent of decay and cleaning supplies in the car and apartment. She was last seen alive in April. Investigators reportedly found rope, plastic, gloves, a knife, cardboard, a shower curtain, and other evidence where Taylor was found, WJXT says. According to the Florida Times-Union, more willfully torture, maliciously punish, or willfully cage her child.
just insanity. Guys, I want to there is so many, like, I feel like I need to get them all out there. The Mark Twain house, I bet you that would be fun. I would like that. This guy, I don't know, just his look pisses me off. I hate to say that, but he really, let me find him. Pennsylvania dad pleads guilty to torturing, killing son whose body was found wholly covered in feces, meaning all over him. Lebanon, Pennsylvania, a 43-year-old, make sure I'm off mute. Okay, yeah, off mute. A 43-year-old father pleaded guilty to torturing, starving, killing his 12-year-old son, whose malnourished body was found in a bed covered in feces. Scott Schollenberger entered a plea for criminal homicide, endangering the welfare of a child, and conspiracy. He was sentenced to life in prison. His trial was reportedly set in March. Schollenberger, fiance Kimberly Maurer, faces similar charges and will go on trial next month. Schollerberger and her was charged with his son's Mac's death in September of 2020. Annville Township Police responded to a home on 30 South White Oak Street on May 26, 2020 at 12:05 p.m. after receiving a report about a deceased boy. Annville police requested backup at the Lebanon County Detective Bureau because of the reportedly, quote, horrific conditions they discovered inside the residence, end quote. The district attorney's statement says detectives located Maxwell, also known as Max Schollenberger, body in a bedroom on the second floor of the home. Max was reportedly malnourished and, quote, completely naked and sprawled out across the bed, end quote. The boy's body and the bed were, quote, wholly covered in fecal matter, end quote, and the feces were uncovered or were discovered under the bed frame as well. Detectives reportedly noticed, quote, claw marks on the sheets. The bed was reportedly the only furniture inside the room, according to the statement. The windows, quote, contained shades and doors, end quote, but the shades were, quote, taped to the window frames and the doors were screwed shut, end quote. This meant Max could not see outside the window. On the outside of the door, detectives found 3 metal hooks that Scott said he used to order to, quote, lock the victim inside his room, end quote. An autopsy showed Max suffered from starvation and malnutrition and blunt force traumas, quote, throughout the child's head, face, and body, end quote. Max weighed 47 pounds and was only 50 inches tall. The medical examiner deemed his death a homicide. His cause of death was blunt force head trauma complicating starvation malnutrition. According to the district attorney office, Scott Schollenberger and Mar had kids together who were, quote, healthy, well-adjusted, and cared for, end quote. One of the children told investigators their parents, quote, refused to let the victim out of his room, end quote. And when Schollenberger and Mar went in, the kids would hear Max, quote, scream and cry. Scott reportedly never enrolled Max in school. The boy also had not received medical care since he was 2 years old, WHP TV reports. Max's mom, Sarah Kuhn, sued Lebanon County and accused Children and Youth Services for not paying attention to reports of his abuse. This one really.
Cornwall Manor is an active senior community where freedom rules.
I can really enjoy the freedom I have to do the things that I love.
Cornwall Manor, the new nature of senior living. Discover your new freedom at cornwallmanor.org.
A grieving mother is now suing Lebanon County, accusing Children of Youth Services of ignoring reports of abuse, which ultimately led to the death of her son. CBS 21's Nick Falturo spoke with her attorneys and joins us now to take us through their case. Nick.
Yeah, Joel D. Investigators called it a house of horrors. This right here behind me is the home. 12-year-old Max Schallenberger was found locked inside a room on the second floor and starved to death. Now his mother is suing the county for what attorneys are calling a collective failure. A lawsuit that could change the way cases are handled at the juvenile level. Steve Marino, attorney for Max's mother, Sarah Kuhn, argues her son's life could have been saved if Children and Youth Services had followed up on repeated child abuse reports made by the boy's grandmother.
She called the Department of Children and Youth of Lebanon County multiple times and lodged complaints saying my grandson I think is being victimized.
Max's father, Scott Schallenberger, and his fiancee, Kimberly Maurer, face homicide charges for the death of the boy, who was found dead in May of 2020 at this house in Annville. The investigation revealed Max lived in deplorable conditions, suffering years of horrific abuse.
There's one agency that has the responsibility that failed in this case, and that child suffered a horrible death because of it.
Kuhn claims her son was subjected to dehydration and starvation at the hands of his father and Maurer. Max weighed just 47 pounds when his body was found.
And if the Child Protective Services agencies aren't well funded, and if they're not equipped with well-trained people and they're not performing their job, and children are suffering, something should change.
And for Marino, the best way to honor Max's life is making sure Lebanon County is held responsible for failing to protect him.
The idea here is, let the jury speak. How can we affect change? You affect change with money verdicts so it doesn't happen again. That's, by my way of thinking, that's how you perfect change.
Now, we reached out to Lebanon County Children and Youth, and we're still waiting to hear back. We also spoke with Lebanon County commissioners who said they have no comment on the case. Reporting live in Lebanon County, Nick Volturo, CBS 21 News.
Thanks a lot, Nick. A little more on this now. Max's dad, Scott Schallenberger, and his dad's fiancee, Kimberly Maurer, will be tried on homicide, child endangerment, and other charges coming up in March. They're also named in this suit filed by Max's mom.
Cornwall Manor.
You know something, in my opinion, any death is tragic. Particularly anyone who's vulnerable, with children, disabled, mentally, physically disabled, elderly, animals, anything like that. But when it goes to years of torture, of every moment living in hell, it's unspeakable. It's absolutely unspeakable. And this little kid, he was, 12-year-old boy. Let me show you this. The average weight for a 12-year-old boy varies on biological sex. For females, it's 92 pounds, and for males, it's 89 pounds. I thought males would weigh more. So he weighed basically half the and I think that's 89 pounds is really small for a 12-year-old. That's me, but and he was what? How many inches? 50 inches? Was it 50 inches? So if he was Yeah, okay, so weight. What did it say? Like 53 pounds. No. I was just trying to see something here. The 0.01 percentile. It says most boys 12 years old weigh between 65 and 139. The average weight measure for this group is 89.72 pounds. One of my boys, he's a little fluffy, I'll say that. But my 8-year-old he weighs like 140 pounds. So he's a chunk. He's not like fat, but he's very solid. I think he's going to be like a football player. How the hell does this happen? Yeah. But my boys are very, very tall too. You know how they put them in the graphs? They put at the pediatrician, they said they would be a minimum of 6'4", my boys. So I mean, I'm short, but I'm like 5'9" ish, 5'10" maybe. Yeah, he's very tall. But he already comes to like right here on me. He's 8. Yeah. Kids are bigger now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the food or just general health. Now I think back in the day, people used to get like infections and, would stunt their growth and everything else. And they didn't get the nutrition that they need. They put nutrition in everything now. So I'm 5'7", and all 3 of my kids were taller than me by the time they were 12. Yeah. Yes, preservatives in food. Yes. So, Precious Chaos, thank you for becoming a member, my dear. My boyfriend was also very tall. Yeah, my husband, he's 6. I think he's like 6'1". So tall, Shannon. I don't like short guys. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Like no, I don't want a short guy. I don't want a feminine little guy like me either. Yes, thank you, Precious, for becoming a member. I'm only 5'2", and my 8-year-old son is up to my chin. Kristen, oh, that's awesome. Very tall. I'm 5'4". That's awesome. I have been thinking about Summer Wells all day long. Rose, thank you for becoming a member, dear. Thank you, my love. Hey, Jackie, I didn't even see you in here. How are you, dear? I don't know. Like, I have been literally nonstop thinking about Summer all day. I've talked to a few people today about Georgette, I do not know if they figured it out how to do. I know you have to do it in. Do you have like a regular computer? If you go to like a regular computer and go into, or if you can I don't like, I know you can download like the Chrome browser and do it that way. I know I'm okay. Well, at least I'm not the only one. Hello, Precious. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Hi, Justice. It's okay.
How are
Hello.
you, honey?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm glad I caught your live.
Yes.
I don't want to admit that I was having a nap, but I was kind of having a
You were
nap.
kind of having a nap?
Kind of having a nap. I woke up and was like, oh, everybody's on.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go back and rewind to watch what you were talking about to hear
Oh
this.
my God. I'm just talking about there's so many kids,
It's I know,
Precious.
every day. Every day.
Jesus Christ.
It's
There's
every day.
every freaking day.
And sometimes if you don't just step away just for a little bit, you find yourself entranced in it. Like you start to find yourself emotionally feeling the pain, the drain, the depression, like the everything. It's just you start to feel it, and you just need to
Yes.
pull away a little bit and just take a bit of a break, because it's not like what we're talking about are happy, wonderful memories of our lives. You know,
Right.
in your situation, in your channel, you're talking about serious, painful, traumatic, unbelievable things we hear, and you do an amazing job. You really do, telling
Thank
these
you.
children stories and giving them, seriously, giving them a voice.
Oh, thank you,
You
Precious. That's
really
really
do.
kind. Um, I think that's what Molly's doing right now. She's just,
Oh, I get it. I get
you
it.
know,
I didn't even have to ask the question.
you
People are
know,
always asking her, where is she? And I'm like, she is just taking a well-deserved break. She's
yeah,
got life responsibility. She's got things right now that are just makes sense. When life becomes more hectic and serious than social media, that plays second fiddle to anything. Doesn't mean you don't care. It just means it is what it is. You have to reevaluate your
well,
priorities in life.
everybody, even if we don't do this, we all need a mental health break.
Yeah, very
You know
much.
what I mean?
Very much.
We all need that, and I don't think we should. Is Molly live? Maybe that's why I only have 96 people in here.
I didn't even know.
My numbers are low tonight.
But I enjoyed the live stream you did yesterday. It was yesterday where you redid the Grandis. You brought up the videos for Grandis. See, I wasn't able to listen to the one that I listened to it yesterday with you, but it was difficult because I couldn't listen to it before because I kept hearing the dogs in the background. And every time I kept hearing the dogs, it was just tearing at my heartstrings because I rescue animals. So I had to like mute that one. I couldn't listen to it. But when I caught it last night, it was very interesting to catch a few of the inconsistencies that Grandma said that was completely different than what Candace said. And the big one for me, again, is going to be the Walgreens. The Walgreens was the biggest throw off for me.
Well, I'm wondering, I was talking about this today. Do you think that, like, maybe Hunter and Candace wanted some time alone and they
Very
left Brandis at
could have been. Yeah.
the Walgreens,
Yeah.
and then they took those two down to the horse pond, and they did whatever they were
But
doing.
take a good look at Grandis's demeanor and everything in that chair. Does she seem like a person that would be okay with you leaving her behind at a Walgreens and then going to a watering hole and doing something? Something tells me she'd be one of those people that'd be like, if I'm gonna wait, you're gonna wait with me. Like you ain't gonna leave me here. She comes across like I said, very cold, very controlling, that's the difference is Candace said we went by Walgreens and dropped off the prescription and we went to the watering hole, waiting for a phone call that came about 30, 40 minutes later to go pick up the prescription. Brandis says we went to the Walgreens, picked up the prescription, left, and went to the watering hole. Two different, it's complete discrepancy on the timeline for the Walgreens.
Thank you, Versi, my love. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Mwah. Thank you, dear.
So
Yeah.
when I got her saying that, I jumped out and just went, wait a minute, that's the first time we've ever heard that. We were always told the prescription was dropped off. You guys went to the watering hole to wait for the phone call for when the medicine was ready, and then you went back. But Grant is saying we went to the Walgreens, basically waited, got the
Waited.
medicine,
Yeah.
and then we left. Well, that changes the timeline, which means that changes the scenario of how that day played out in the sense of that part. And it's like I said, first time she's talked in like what, 8 months? And those are huge
Yes.
discrepancies.
And Precious, but what about when she says, I believe they went to the watering hole
The
that day?
believe word was the huge one too. Believe means you don't know. It's your theory. It's what you think.
Right. It's like,
You
I
weren't there
believe,
to
you know,
see it. You weren't there to live it. You weren't there to experience it. It's
it's
what you
it
believe
means
it
I'm
is.
not sure, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you
Yeah.
know, it's one of those things.
And I do believe Grandis was probably at the watering hole, but she would have stayed in the vehicle. She would have not
She
walked
didn't
away.
go down. No.
Not with the bumped knee. My mom has a bumped knee, a bumped back. Are you kidding me? There's days where it's flared up so bad, she can't even get up. So if it was that bad, which, you know, cortisol, I get that. She ain't going to get out of that truck. She ain't going to get further than that truck because her leg, and in that case, H could still be there and Candace could still be there, right? Because they could have just, Grandis stays in the truck. Candace goes off with Summer and Hunter. Summer's playing. She turns her back and does her little funky stuff, whatever she decides to do with Hunter. You know, next thing you know, it's very well a possibility. But I'm hoping that Lawson drags her back in because, like I said, there was a discrepancy on what Candace and Don has been saying from day one for 8 months. And now she finally talks for the first time. And there was like 2 or 3 things that she did discrepancy on. There was the opposite of what those two have been saying since day one.
What about this? What, you know, Candace and Allie were in a tiff, right? They were in a little, hadn't spoken in months, right?
Right.
So why Candace hadn't seen Hunter or anything?
Mhm.
Why the day Summer goes missing, she randomly goes over there?
It's no different than when I said in the chat last night, what are the odds that the same day the CPS was going to go and look at the children, a child goes missing? Or the next, somebody said apparently they're going to go the day after. Either or, what are the odds that that is actually going to happen? The odds are very rare. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's just very rare.
But you know, cops say they don't believe in coincidences in these type of issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I mean, why
Mm-hmm.
out of all days did Candace go over there and pick Hunter up?
That's right.
And they go fishing without fishing poles.
Could have used him for an alibi. Used him as an alibi.
That's the only reason.
Let's use him for an alibi.
Yes.
So she had somebody else other than herself and Grandis to say that we have somebody else that can visually say where we were and what we were like, you know, where we were and can confirm all of these things. But then there's my question. Like I said, why would Allie ever allow her 14-year-old son to play with a grown-ass woman? Like
Absolutely.
I said, it's not about playing with Summer. This was really about playing with Candace, and that's what I don't get.
Not to mention, yeah, so you say that the kids need to go, you know, the boys need to go clean, right?
And that's the odd thing. There it is too. Why? That's how I thought too. Why would you? Doesn't mean you take Summer with you to do the swimming and everything. But like I said, same thing. Hot day. Why wouldn't you take your sons?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you take the whole family? Be like, you know, it's a hot day, boys. Summer, get in the car. We're gonna go to the watering hole. Like I said, why would you only take your daughter, one out of 4 your children, to a water park? Why wouldn't you take all the kids?
Why would you take, you know, just one daughter and your ex-friend's kid who you haven't seen in months anyways? Like, it's all of these little things.
Yeah.
And, you know, for people who don't want to see this, you know, or say, you know, that well, what about this, that this guy over here or this guy over here? I'm like, yeah, of course we should look into it. We should look into everything. But
Of
There's
course, and I hope
all of these
the idea.
things
Yes.
around it.
But here's the part, Justice. From the get-go, how many times have we seen them interviewed from the get-go? And they were asked multiple times, whether it was law enforcement, whether it was Dr. Phil, no matter who it was, they were always asked the same question. Do you know anybody that could have done this to your daughter? The answer was always the same with them too, not skipping a beat. No. Do you have any enemies? Nope. Could you think of no? But then, like I said, the moment they're not near them, they're out here on YouTube dropping Dudley's name, dropping Fred Hill's name, dropping Jody Sue's Andy's name. But here's me going, you didn't drop any names of these people to law enforcement, Dr. Phil, but yet
Exactly.
you're dropping them when you're not around them. Why are they dropping them? Because they're trying to get you guys to believe that these other people would be guilty of it first before they would be. And that's what
They're trying to muck up the work. Just muck it all up, make it messy.
Why isn't Ronnie dragging them in and saying, all right, let's have a discussion? So you think it's your coworker, Dudley? Oh, I didn't say that. Yeah, you did on YouTube. Okay, so why do you, I'm just like, why isn't Lawson pulling them in and re-questioning them when they start dropping more info that they've never heard before?
Exactly. Well, then why didn't you tell me? If you're telling these people that it's Dudley or whoever, then why didn't you tell me, law enforcement? You know what I mean?
Because they asked them, remember, do you have enemies? Can you think of anybody? And they were, no, but you come off of that camera and you've got 1,000 names of people you have no problem throwing under the bus that you could, like, this one did my daughter, this one did this one. You're like 8 names of people that hurt her. And I'm like, okay, not saying we shouldn't look at them, but again, why did you not tell law enforcement and Dr. Leonard? I think possibly my ex-coworker could have done it. I think possibly my neighbor. I mean, except nobody, remember? No enemies. Absolutely none. No, couldn't think of a certain person that would ever want to hurt us. You're not in front of the camera. You have a lot of info for us.
Well, they insisted from the moment that she was abducted. Since like that Summer would never run off, they said. Never run off, right?
Never.
So, yes.
And I don't believe that because I know for a fact if I lived in that area like that, yeah.
Thank you, Rose. Appreciate it, honey. Thank you for the super sticker.
And that for me, like, there's another lie that you go, come on. The safest place a child's ever going to be is at their own house. For the most part, the safest place you're going to be is with your kids playing at their own property. You can't tell me that little girl. I feel the same with Ryan Upchurch. You can't tell me that little girl never ran outside and just played and being outside and played. And she never wandered off and maybe found a squirrel and chased a squirrel and did it. Like, come on. I find that hard to believe. Even I was a kid that wandered off. My parents would be like, don't go too far. And I'd still try to go in the escarpment and climb trees and stuff. Like,
well, they said
I find that hard to believe.
People said she played down in the road and everything else. I imagine... I've talked to people around that area and they said Candace and Don and the kids, they act like they own the whole holler. They would just run over all tarnation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And especially while Don was gone. Candace was, they called her the mayor.
Well, like I said, I hope Lawson is, like I said, been listening to what Grandis has said in that interview, and then go back and listen to the interview Dawn and Candace did on June 29th and notice, like I said, the storylines are not adding up. Somebody is telling a different story, and if somebody's telling a different story, and guess the only 2 main people there was Grandis and Candace. And I said, Grandis is adjusting the story a bit. I'd be dragging them back in and interrogating them again. Were you at the Walgreens and waiting there, or did you drop it off and you left? Because again, that changes the time. That changes the timeline of 30 to 40 minutes now unaccounted for.
Yes.
That she claimed they were waiting for the medication for.
Yes, and I mean,
I can.
There's no reason to change a story.
Nope.
The truth is eternal.
That's right.
It never needs to change.
That's right. If it's exactly the truth, you can tell it 1,000 times for 30 years, and you'll have the story exactly the same every time.
Yes.
Because it's the truth.
Kimberly?
Justin Lee?
That's so true.
Oh, my God. What are you doing?
I've just been... I wrote down on my legal pad Dawn Wells. I wrote down on my legal pad Candace Wells. I wrote down on my legal pad Candace Hare. And there's just some shit that doesn't add up. And I believe it's so much that it would take hours to even go there. But if we went back to your interview yesterday, well, not your interview, but what you played, the very first one, 20
Mhm.
minutes in, Don makes that plea. And if we know what we know now, he asked them,
Yeah,
I don't know how you're going to do it,
Right.
but please let her go.
Yeah, I remembered hearing that. Yeah. Yes, he said that. Yeah. Yeah.
So what does that tell me? You don't know how you're going to do it. You already said you know what this looks like. You know where she's at. You know how this happened. Blah, 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 blah. Who the hell you pleading for?
Or who are you pleading to?
What?
That could have been a message to somebody specific.
Listen to it again. Go back and listen to 20 minutes in yesterday's video, and he says it. He is the creeper. In my opinion,
I agree.
This
Yeah.
was set up. This was
I
set
think
up.
he was the creeper. I think he was there waiting at the house.
Yes, sir.
I've always thought that.
And you believe Dawn's the creeper that they're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I said in the chat a couple times. And they were like, well, they said there was a creepy guy up there. I'm like, yeah, Dawn.
Yeah.
Like, Dawn's the creepy.
That's how Dawn called and said, oh, there's a creepy guy up there. He was setting the groundwork.
Yes.
In my opinion.
As she was setting the groundwork prior.
Yeah, with Jody, Sue, Andy, and the other ones. No, I get what you're saying. Yep. Yep.
I mean, it
is. It's a lot. Like I said, I'm hoping he's listening to those videos and pulling her back in. Like I said, well, how long were you at Walgreens for? And I know for a fact, all these places they went to, they have cameras. Hospitals have cameras, pharmacies, all businesses and stores, they got cameras inside the store. They got cameras outside to watch the parking lot. So they can easily tag this to find their vehicle and see how long they are at locations and such.
This is the interesting thing about Dawn, though. There's two ways to get into Dawn's house, right? There's two ways to get in Dawn's house.
Right.
Dawn took the long way home.
The long route? Okay.
Yes. Took the long route home. There's no traffic cameras there or any way on the long way home when you're hauling ass home.
On the day she went missing, he took the long route home. Damn. Do you guys have, in America, what are they called? Street cams? Like we're on top of certain street lights or steep poles. You have cameras that monitor.
We have them like on traffic lights and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. God, I'm thinking, I wonder if that highway, even if there's a four-way light somewhere.
One camera on that
No
way.
gas station on that road that might even had a camera. A gas station that could have had a camera that would face into the parking lot towards the road.
It's pretty. Thank you, Teddy, for becoming a member. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense because when you're in an emergency, you're going to take the quickest, fastest way to get home. You're not going to take the detour or scenic route.
And with Hunter being an alibi, if you think when CM was interviewing him, when we turned from, he was, he was yawning and this. Stop it, George. He was yawning and this. This kid, in my opinion, could very well sit there and say, I don't know what happened, but something did happen, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin.
Very well. That could be true too. She could have given him the twisted tea and a bit of his memories not really there. Like I'm kind of remember a bit, but I was kind of high a bit. So I'm not quite as sure. She could have very well have helped to do that so that maybe the kid wouldn't have. That's like I said,
That's a good idea.
A fun person to him, like the fun woman to hang out with, the fun, the fun parent.
She gives me booze. She gives me pot to smoke. Like my mom doesn't do that stuff. So I'm going to go hang out with this person. But it's their relationship. It's the way you see the way they've engaged and do stuff. There's no way you can't tell me that something happened there at least one time. It's just the way that they interact. And it just makes me very nauseating to know that I'm just like, this is gross, man. It's just
sure, absolutely. Something could have happened there. But when I think about Summer, I think this kid was like, oh no, I know something happened. I don't want this to get out about me and Candace, but I don't know what happened. But I asked her about Don. Don said there was a creeper on the hill. I mean, he was just trying to tell his story as a typical teenager these days.
Yep.
And not wanting maybe that relationship or that whatever he had
to get out.
You see,
Well, because he's a kid, right? And for all he knows in his brain, he's in trouble. He did wrong. Oh my God, if my mom finds out or my grandma finds out, like I'm gonna get in trouble. My dad might kick my butt. So very well, he could not be saying anything because he looks at it like he did something wrong. He'll get in trouble.
Girl, thank you, dear. Thank you, love.
And the sad thing is that kid didn't do anything. He was just around horrible people that just told him the wrong thing. Like, think about it. He commits this crime of stealing a vehicle with a baby in it after the traumatized event of Summer going missing. That's a kid acting out. That's a cry out and a scream out for help of a kid acting out in a way that he probably never acted out before, whatever he saw that happened that day.
Yes.
In my opinion, I don't think he saw anything. I think he heard things.
Saw or heard, meaning has some indication, like he was there or around there, that he has some idea. And he knows that whatever she's saying is a lie, that, you know, he knows that Summer wasn't abducted from the basement and stuff. It could have been that he just, yeah, you self-destruct, you can't handle it, and you make some bad decisions, and then there you go.
Here's another interesting thing I would like to talk about. So, again, Hunter, you know, there was, and Candace and Allie and all of them, there was an estranged relationship there.
Yes.
Why does Hunter put a picture in the heading of the Facebook, the cover page? Why does he put Candace and him in that?
His girlfriend
When instead of his girlfriend, and he just has a girlfriend, he doesn't specify who the girlfriend is.
Yeah.
Why does he do that?
Yeah. That made me uncomfortable when I saw he was like, we're in a relationship. And then Candace responded back. And so she was like, well, I'm not with the kid. He's like, he's just a kid. I'd never be with this kid. And I'm like, okay, lady, listen. Like I said, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a grooming and a confusion with that kid's brain. That, like I said, she played him. She probably manipulated that kid's brain, not different than she probably manipulated a bit of like her own children. So that guy didn't know what from left from right. He doesn't have a mother that was a positive, nurturing influence. He didn't have a father that was one, but he has an older lady that gives him attention that his mother never gave. I mean, she twisted and she used that to take advantage of this kid. At that age, you don't know the difference between what's right, like legal right amongst moralities of society. You know what I mean? And what's not. And I believe she totally groomed and took advantage of that.
That girl says, how many 15-year-olds are able to recognize an emergency situation? That girl, when you say that, do you mean like you don't think he would remember it? Is that what you're saying?
So I'm saying, if indeed he was on the twisted tea, and if she did smoke a bit of cannabis with him, if you had a buzz going, it's like you've seen it and you remember it, but when you're sober, you second guess whether for sure what you saw is what you saw, because again, you were a bit high when you saw it. So you're like, well, I was high. Maybe I was seeing a little bit more than I really actually saw. It was probably just the whatever. So I would say, yeah, she probably did get him a bit messed up. I absolutely, because they said he had the twisted tea. So that means numb him up, get a little bit of a buzz going in this kid, get his sensories off a bit, so he's not so,
he's more relaxed. Yeah,
he's more relaxed. It slows down your things. If you got a buzz, you're slower to react. You're slower to like bring things in. I could see her doing that as well.
Okay, but what if? Let me think here. I have to think.
I would hate to think that that's what she needed to do to be able to mess with this kid. Was the only time she would do it, is like I said, to get him on twisted tea or get him on something.
Thank you, Lisa, for becoming a member. Thank you, love.
Because I find it hard to believe that if they were horrible enough to give it to their own children, you're darn right they'll give it to other people's kids. They'll give it to H.
But Vet Girl, what if Candace said, listen, even if you say anything, you are going to jail for the
That's what I
rest
was
of
gonna say.
your
What if she scared
life.
him?
Like,
There
what
it
if
is.
she scared the
Yeah.
bejesus out of him? Not even if,
Yeah.
like, even if she said, uh, even if they say, "No, Hunter, you won't go to jail, I promise,"
She
or
tells you
whatever,
that's a possibility.
you
Absolutely.
know, and they will still say, "Oh, Hunter, you're still, you're not going to jail," but Candace is like, "They're just bluffing you. You'll still go to freaking jail." You know
She
what
could
I
have
mean?
said it from day one when it happened. She could have said, "Oh my God, Hunter, we must keep it between
Lovers.
us, or we're gonna go to jail." She could have said it right from day one, right from the moment it happened. Hi, Molly. Hi, Marissa. So that's a possibility that whatever happened happened. She could have turned to Hunter and said, "Listen, you got to say nothing because you don't say nothing. Like, I'm gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail. Your mom's gonna go to jail." You tell this to a 15-year-old kid. Yeah, that'll scare me enough and screw with my freaking head, and I wouldn't be the same again. Now I'm carrying something that I can't tell anybody. Because
Yeah.
apparently, if I speak, a bunch of people I care and love for, it's going to go to jail. Could I see her doing that? Manipulation? Yes, I do. Very
So,
much.
what if we flipped it on the other side? And let's say that Hunter's gone to, juvenile.
That's true. That's true. Well, he has been a juvenile.
Yep. And at that point, maybe he feels a little protected. Let's just say, and he has no knowledge but what he's already said to the FBI agents, to his mother, to the police, and what he saw and did that day. That's all he saw and did. He did take the alcohol. He did take the Delta 8 or whatever she bought him that day, whatever it was. I don't know. But what if that's all he did see?
Okay, and I'll say fair on that. If that was all he saw, here's my question: why haven't they arrested him for giving drugs and alcohol to a minor?
Well, because
I'm saying, is that not against the law? I mean, if he came clean and said that, then it'd be me. I'd be going and charging Canada. You just
Well,
gave
I
alcohol
mean,
to a
but
minor.
exactly. I mean, the thing about it is, if the cops want you, they will find something to arrest you for.
Correct.
So, I mean, they really will. They'll find something. Even if it's a parking ticket, or unpaid fines, anything, if they want you in jail, like right now. But they haven't done that.
Yeah.
I think it's worthy to note that they're building a case.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like this is big and there's going to be a big, like multiple charges. And they're just making sure that they have absolutely every piece of evidence they can get so that when they go to the DA, they will actually lay the charges. And I get it. They don't want to mess up on this one where that I understand in your country, you have this thing called double jeopardy where you can't try somebody for the same crime in your country. Is that what it's called? Double jeopardy. You can't charge them with.
Yes.
So I can understand they don't want to make the mistake on this one. So I can understand they want to make sure they can get as much solid connecting evidence as they possibly can when they lay these charges, because I know they wouldn't want this to not make it to court, or then again, make it to court and not found guilty. It'll make a big rippled.
Because one simple thing could cause the whole case to go downhill.
Absolutely.
And it's just that simple.
And I believe it's either going to be Candace or it's going to be Dawn. One of them is going to talk. One of them is going to talk and make a bit of a deal or whatever they can. It just only makes sense. I mean, I'm thinking if Don's smart, he'll be the first one to do it, because like Don, Candace pretty much don't love you no more. She like setting up this house. She's gonna set it up so she can turn around and sell it.
I have a question for both y'all.
Mm-hmm.
How do you believe in your heart that Don Wells saw the interview with Grandis while he's in jail? Not that he got hearsay or.
I think by now, yes. Because they do get certain channels in jail, and the local news channel will be a channel that they would get in the jail. Would be the local news network. So I'm thinking by now it would have gotten back to him.
I think if he's not in solitary confinement, he probably did.
That's what I was going to ask. If he is in solitary confinement, I've never been to jail. I've never been to prison. So I do not know if you're allowed to watch TV if you're in solitary confinement. I don't know that.
I thought they have a little TV. I can't remember. I've never been there, thank God, and I want to keep it that
In
way.
solitary confinement, I mean, if it's for, I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of solitary confinement, if it's for bad behavior or if it's
For their
for
protection. For their protection.
I guess it would depend on that. And it would depend on the prison as well. Jail or prison. Is
No,
he
I
in a
believe
jail or a
it
prison?
back to him. Maybe not Grandis yet, but it will get to him soon. But definitely what Candace said about 2 weeks ago when that was the first time she announced, you know, I don't love him anymore and I want to move on with my kids. Man, at that moment, I would have been like, Don, wake up. Listen, you're in jail for a DUI. You're in jail because your dumb ass went to the store to get smokes for your dumb wife who was screaming at you to go drive. Like, you're in jail because of her right now.
Holy cow, vet girl. Thank you. What do I do? If grandma is found not to be the water hole that day, that will be the money card bingo.
Very true. If she did stay behind at the pharmacy and was like, no, I don't want to go there. It's air conditioned in here. I'm going to sit in here. You go do your business. I'll call you when my medicine is done.
Thank you, vet girl. Well, this is my question, vet girl. Could the police already know that Grandis didn't go to the watering hole? Maybe they have her at the pharmacy, you know,
That'd
or
be
something.
great to know.
I mean,
great to know.
You know, could they already know? You know what I mean? And we just don't.
Yeah. And that's called them being smart. They release stuff. If they release a little bit to the public, whoever did the crime can adjust themselves a little bit, like I said, to further kind of avoid it. That's why they're smart. Keeping those ACE cards as close as they can. Very smart. Very smart. They have
So
to
if we're sitting on our porches and we're talking to each other, and I'm just sitting here and I'm telling you about my granddaughter's day, and I say, well, she went swimming. Does that sound like I was there?
No. Really? It sounds a bit detached.
No,
we got this medicine, and I know that she went swimming. Was she there?
Well, I believe she went swimming.
Well, we saw the footage. So we know she did.
But I don't know if I'm so much convinced that Grandis was at that watering hole. I can't be convinced of that yet.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 of whether she was either sitting in the truck waiting or she was still at the pharmacy. But
I don't think she was down there. I don't think she was down there because Jackie S in here and I was talking about it. Jackie's had knee replacements. Grandis has had knee replacements. You can go on an incline, but you cannot go on a downcline. You also cannot get a hydrocortisone shot when you have a knee replacement because it eats all that stuff up. You can have like a steroid shot.
Why did she say that? Okay, well, she did say she got a shot. She
didn't say what kind of a shot or anything like that. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she may have gotten a steroid shot or something, but yeah.
Something to get rid of the flaring and the pain up. And that's what I'm saying. She was already in pain that day. It makes you think she was going to then go run around in a watering hole and go in the water and stuff when she was in pain and agony.
If she was in pain, why didn't she request to go to the emergency room? Why didn't she say, Candace, please take me up to the emergency room? My leg is really bothering me. She says that Candace suggested for her to go to the hospital, and she went. I mean, if I'm
sorry, Jackie. No hydrocortisone shot in knee. You're breaking up, Kim. No hydrocortisone shot in knee. She could have got it in the shot in the butt. Okay. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah.
Am I breaking up?
Yes, you're still breaking up.
Okay. I'm going to jump down and get
on the butt. That could work.
Try it again.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, you're good now.
Okay, so I'm going to move my laptop little thing over here. So this might be better.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, if she was in pain over her knee, why she didn't say, I need to go to the doctor. This is really, really hurting me. And if we're in that much pain, my mother, and I'll give you this too, my mother had a double knee replacement.
Oh.
And there is no way my mom can go downhill. She cannot.
You can't.
No.
You can't go down, Clyde.
No.
And my mother used to get shots in her knees that were painful. I could not watch her get these shots, but it was because
It's
it
long.
was
A long needle. I've seen my grandmother. She used to get them.
and she would just drip tears out of her eyes because I guess the medicine, it goes in between, so you're not bone on bone. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I thought about that shot. Could she have gotten something like that? I do know that like nowadays they're not going to prescribe you narcotic medication to go home.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think that they would prescribe something like that at the ER. That seems more like a specialist to me. They just want to get rid of the inflammation or something to
Right.
get you out. They're not going to put like the rooster comb in between your, the cartilage or anything between. I don't see them doing that.
And if they did give her a painkiller, I would think it'd be something minor like, Tylenol, Tylenol with a bit of codeine or something. I don't see they would
Right.
prescribe her any oxys or Percocets or something for it.
But if she was given a pain injection does that make you tired?
What's that?
I don't know. If the needle has a side effect, then maybe it makes you tired. I have no idea. No idea. I don't know if the shot makes you give you fatigued or makes you tired. All I know is, like I said, you're going to be in that pain and get a shot. Like you said, you're going to be uncomfortable. Last thing you want to do, like I said, is going to be running around and playing and hearing kids scream.
Like, for instance, if I'm going to go off what Vet Girl just said, is that if you go to an emergency room and you're given some sort of, altering medication, such as pain meds or something like that, you're not allowed to drive. Like, you have to be driven.
Which she was. Candace drove her there.
Right.
She was,
So
right.
then they waited around for medicine. Well, she never mentions the hippie store. Didn't they go there? Or was Grandis just left at the pharmacy to wait around for her medicine?
Yes, and she went straight from Grandis's story. She just went from the pharmacy to the
hospital to the pharmacy, got the medicine, and then went to the watering hole.
Yeah.
Candace's dropped out prescription, went to the watering hole, then went back to the pharmacy again.
We didn't mention the hippie house, Sonic, or anything.
Yeah, nothing.
And I think for me the ending was the best for me with Grandis when they were like, anything I have to say, and she's like, yeah, I'm sick of these YouTubers that are, and there was me going, you got to be kidding me, lady, seriously, are you listening to what you're freaking saying right now?
Yeah,
You're
because
telling
she never answered the
the
question.
agency that your biggest problem right now with this whole thing is not that we still can't find my granddaughter. It's because there's people out there on YouTube that are hating on me and hating on my daughter. Susie, why the hell are you? Oh, listen, how many people have a missing child that actually they don't even know
worried about anybody else?
Social media. Thank you. They don't even know what people are saying about them on YouTube.
But that wasn't even Ainsley's question. She never asked about a YouTuber at the end of the driveway. She asked her, when's the last time you contacted them?
God bless you. Thank you so much, Vet Girl. All scripts sent electronically now, no dropping off needed. Where did Grandma wait? That is true.
Well, she waited at the pharmacy. Like I said, it'll be on the camera because the camera's inside and outside. You'd see her sitting somewhere.
Now, to be fair, they did. Hunter and Candace did say they went through the drive-through. To be fair, they did.
Yes, that's right. Yes, they did. They said the drive-through to drop off the prescription, and then they left to go to the watering hole.
Yes.
Same thing. Inconsistency. That, like I said, that was big. When she said that, I went, finally. I'm like somebody who's not doing the same script. She went off script a little bit, but enough that I'm hoping he will.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you, vet girl. Um,
See, wow, for me in my country, ER doctors do write prescriptions. See, for me up here, they do. Like they don't write like long things, but say I ran out of a medication that I get prescribed from my doctor, and say I couldn't get in time to see her. If I go to my emergency room, they'll fill out a prescription for like say 3 or 4 tablets, until to go then to the pharmacy until I can get into my doctor's office. So for me, it's different up here. Well, they will prescribe that, but small amounts until you can get to your doctor and up it properly.
mhm. Where I'm at, this has just recently changed here for me. But anything controlled, is sent electronically now. If
What
it's
do you mean by
not,
sent electronically? I'm sorry.
they just send it from
Oh,
their
the
computer to the
prescription sends it.
pharmacy. Yeah.
Yes, yes, we have that up here. Like, yeah, like I just call the pharmacy and say I need my refills. And then if there's refills, they do it. If they don't, they just fax it to my doctor's office. And then she just signs off on it. Yep, refill these ones again, faxes it back to the pharmacy, and then they refill it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, I really would like to know how long exactly they were at there, because remember, Candace said it was either 30 or 40 minutes that they were at the watering hole before they got a phone call about the prescription being ready. Well, I said, that's 30, 40 minutes unaccounted for.
Yeah. What else did she say that I was? I forgot what it was I was going to say.
She's much like Dawn in that sense. Like I said, when was the last time you talked to law enforcement? Yeah, I don't need to. There's Dawn. Dawn was the last time you talked about 3 weeks ago. Like you said, same thing. That was me. I'd be calling every day, every other day. What's going on with my child? What's going on? What's happening? Like,
Yes,
why would
that's
you be
another
waiting
thing.
for them to reach out for you? You should be on top of them, making sure that they haven't forgotten about your child and they are not going to turn this into a cold case.
Why is Grandis, after 8 months,
Finally talking?
Why is
That's something neat.
Candace not talking to reporters, but she will talk to people who,
YouTube, basically. She talks to YouTube.
yes, yeah.
YouTube. That one is a difficult one. I'm trying to figure out when I'm
As
wondering
long
if
as you don't
which
have her,
one-
as long as you don't ask her tough questions, at least she'll
Well,
talk.
she won't answer them. I mean, she just doesn't answer them. She does a little slide trick, give you another answer for a question and I'll give you an answer to a question you didn't ask me. And then hopefully you'll forget about the original question you asked me. And I'm like, sly, but not sly enough, Grandma.
Vet girl, in West Virginia, where I live, we are the #1 overdose state in the country,
I'm so sorry.
per capita.
Ugh.
And all controlled substances here,
Mhm.
100% of the time has to be written by
Mhm.
electronic.
Mhm.
Go straight there. I mean, when my father-in-law had cancer and he was getting his very, very powerful medications and stuff,
Yeah.
I didn't touch it. I just went down to the pharmacy and got
Yeah.
it.
I understand what you're saying. My mom's going through that sadly right now. She re-injured her back, and they have her on morphine right now from home.
Yeah.
That's how much pain she's in, and she's still feeling it. She has sciatic nerves in her back, and she like retwisted it. And between the acupunctures and everything, it's still not enough. That right now, she's at home, and they give her morphine for it. I mean, it really comes down to you at the end, whether it's your decision to sit there and abuse prescription drugs or not. And I will never abuse prescription drugs. I will take them as directed. I don't use them for any other reason. And when you're a person that's like that, you build that repertoire with your doctor and stuff that knows, this person's okay. Like they take it as prescribed. They don't take it for any other reason. They don't take it to get high, or they don't sell it to people. Like, they take it as directed. So when she said that, I was like, damn, Mom.
What's a wet signature? I
A
don't even
signature?
know.
A what signature? You mean like a prescription? You mean like a prescription? Like someone actually fills out a prescription and then the doctor signs it, like a piece of paper, and he signs it?
Hello, Joe. So why would C say they had to drop off and wait?
That's what I said. That's the first inconsistency. And I'm thinking the only reason my grandness possibly could talk was because you notice even before Dawn was in jail, Dawn was a spokesperson. How often do we see Candace? Maybe we saw her 2-3 times with Dawn on YouTube, and that was it. It was always Dawn, and Candace was in the background trying to get him off the YouTube. So it could be that Grandis knows very well that her daughter might slip up and say something that could get them in trouble. So she's like, Grandis is like, I've been down this road. I've been doing this with Rose for how many years? Like, tell me what you want me to do, and I can do this.
Where'd Kim go? Just now.
Probably dropped out.
Never heard of a wet prescription. Me either. I haven't heard of a wet prescription.
So that's the only thing that I can think of that would make her speak was like I said, her knowing that Candace can't do it, that her own daughter cannot speak on camera or cannot say anything because I could see that. Mama, I'm gonna break. Mama, I can't do this. Like I could just see it, and then there's Grandis. I got this. Just write down a letter on a back of a truck because she can't communicate with the media. But then that night, there she is on her live stream. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Candace Bly Live. But today I wrote a letter on the back of Donnie's truck because I couldn't talk to the media. I'm too triggered. Like,
hi, Amy.
Oh, God.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little tired. I'll just talk a little bit. I don't know what else to say.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing, Precious? Hi.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just a long day. It's always long stuff to do. Mother stuff. I'm exhausted, but I just come on. I don't know how you do it, Justin, how you run all night and then you're here. I fell asleep and then I was like, I woke up and I watched the rest of your other videos. So
I fall asleep a lot.
Well, I have earbuds in my ears to fall asleep. So then, I have a couple things. The thing with the whole thing with, all these different, going back and forth as to what really happened. I don't know if anyone's ever done like a physical timeline, draw a line and then just plot the times and then compare each timeline and just see what, I don't know if TBI or any other law enforcement
I was going to say, if anybody did it, they would do it. I don't think we've done it. I don't think I've seen
No, but I'm just saying, because it's like when I'm listening to these timelines, I'm like, I don't even know what time of day these things are happening. Like, do they say what time, because, sometimes you need those times to just, I need something spelled out for me.
I'll be right back.
I need something like a Venn diagram or something like if, especially with this case, there's so many people.
I understand.
And with the cast, even I say this whole case, I say it's a bunch of too many in this cast of characters. I'm like, I feel like I need a playbill, like you'd get at a play, at a show, and they would have all the list of people and explaining because all these different names, YouTubers, people involved. To me, this is one of the most perplexing who done it or whatever where is Summer case I have ever seen. I think it gets very confusing for people that maybe just started following it, that want to really do a good job trying to
like I said,
discern.
especially as Dawn and Candace keep dropping more names through 8 months. They keep dropping more names and more
I've
names.
never seen people know so many people for people that live out in the sticks. How do you know all these people? You're out in the boonies, you seem so isolated. So none of this makes any sense to me because I just think for me personally, for me to really understand something, I need it spelled out. I need a drawing. I need a diagram. I need arrows, boxes, etc. To understand something that's going on as opposed to people just talking and doing YouTube. I just think it's very difficult for me to understand.
I can imagine how difficult it is for TBI to probably have 10 whiteboards up on.
Can you imagine? I couldn't imagine the stacks of paperwork, but I don't know if Justin's going to hear this, but or Justice, I think that possibly they already have a grand jury going on right now.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I think they're
dotting the I's, getting the final things together, and getting ready to present it to the DA.
I would hope so. I hope this DA gets the DAs in other states, the one in California, that's prosecuting those 2 little boys. I really hope that they're going to get a backbone and do something, and not wimp out and say, oh, we don't have a case, etc. But but also with the knee thing, I've had terrible knee problems. I had something in my, I think it was on my left knee. Yeah, it was my left knee. It was I had chondromalacia. I don't know. It was like it was like and what happened was, I I had cortisone shots and like one shot rather, and I'm telling you, after that, I didn't want to walk on my knee. All I wanted to do was sit down and do nothing. So
Exactly.
so none of it makes sense that she would be walking on a knee after having something like that. And additionally, when you go to the doctor, I'm a nurse myself. So the thing is that they're not going to sit there and put a pain medication into a joint like that. That would not, they're not going to inject something like that into a joint of somebody. You would harm the joint by putting any kind of narcotics in there. If you're going to need pain medication, like it would be oral or IV.
And then anti-inflammatory,
or like ibuprofen or naproxen, and also like for somebody when you have a knee issue, you're not. It's easier to go up in elevation as opposed to down because you're impacting it more.
Exactly.
And
Putting more weight
and also when I remember when I had the bad knee, I couldn't even step down from a big high step. I'd have to hold on with my arms to really to go down, so because the shock of my knee would be so much if I went down too fast or if the step was down too far, especially if someone's in a car. Like when I was in a car, like, no, I don't want to go in this high thing. Like I'm not going to be able to. How am I going to get out of here when I'm going to jump out and kill my knee again? So it doesn't make sense that she would be in a big truck with a knee like that, or Candace would have had to been traveling around with a step stool to lower her down to go in and out so she doesn't hurt herself.
Lower in and out. That's true. That's true. To get in and out of the vehicle.
And the only thing that cured my knee was stem cells. I had stem cell injections, and that was amniotic stem cells. That's the only thing that got rid of it, because I wasn't going to get the other thing they were talking about, the card is called Synvisc, and I researched that, and I read every time I read all the reviews, and people were like, I wound up with a knee replacement. Oh no, I'm not getting that. And also that had to be in our country, has to be authorized by insurance. So I would not expect that someone would be getting a Synvisc injection in the emergency room. That's done in an orthopedic doctor's office setting. That would be pre-authorized, so they wouldn't really be doing that.
Like a specialist doctor, you go see a specialist.
No, they're not going. An ER doctor's not going to do that, and they will prescribe meds in the ER, just enough, as you said, and as the same is done in Canada. Right.
Just
so none of the
so you can get back to the doctor.
Just as because being in the medical profession and having had that experience myself, I just don't believe anything they're saying. I honestly don't believe anything that they're saying. An old woman like that, who doesn't seem to really have a good diet or take care of herself, they don't, or Candace doesn't care either. They don't. I'm like, I don't believe anything they're saying that concerned with health at all. I have no belief, or I don't see that them have any credibility in what they're saying about taking her to an ER and being so concerned with her leg.
You know what's sad about that when you think about it, that they actually took Grandis to an ER to get help, but those kids got what medical treatment?
Exactly. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to not take care of your kids like that. They don't care about their kids. You know.
Hey, Melissa. How are you doing, Melissa?
Hi, Melissa. Sorry. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
She's not there. She might have. I don't know.
Are you there, Melissa?
I don't know if she hears us.
She may have.
Hi, Melissa. She's back.
Hi, Melissa.
She may not hear us.
Can you hear us?
She has to unmute.
I can't hear her.
Unmute
her
Melissa.
mic. Maybe it's her earbuds. No, but I was just saying before is the timeline. Like, I think that it's hard for me, like with all these different people with what went on, it's hard to really visualize the time of day with this case and when these occurrences or events of the day happen. without seeing if it's afternoon, morning, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, late afternoon. So I think it's hard for me to really come up with something that I could really believe in
Does a
that might
party
have
wonder
happened.
if she deliberately went to all these different locations like Sonic and stuff, like I said, just have alibis, visual alibis? Because you find it interesting. You think Grandis, like I said, bad knee. She's not going to want to stop here at Sonic, stop here at the hippie house,
No,
stop here. She would just want to
Well,
get
and
home.
then to go to the
of
grocery
course.
store and go
That's what I said.
shopping.
No, you're
Exactly.
not.
She would just get home.
I know. Well, the day I got my shot for my knee, I had to go to the grocery store because no one was going to get food in the house, and I was struggling. I was crying throughout the whole visit to the store. I just had to get home and do nothing. And so none of what they're saying makes any sense to me. It's so unthought out. It's so it seems so intentional. Of
Right.
there's such intent on making up a story. So I
Right.
don't
Like
know.
making
Hey,
a story and
Melissa.
sticking with the script. Yeah, I get it.
Melissa, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm gonna
How are you
hop
doing?
off. Nice chatting with you. I have to you get up in the morning.
Nice
Okay,
chatting with you,
Amy.
All
Amy.
right. I'll talk
Get
to you
some
guys
rest.
later.
Take
Take
Okay,
care.
care.
Very
hon.
nice
Bye.
to
Bye
meet you.
bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Seeing you. How are you, Melissa?
I'm good.
Good.
I live in Illinois and
Mm-hmm.
I work in the healthcare hospital setting.
Yes.
And I do work with ER doctors and I do have experience with pain management doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And be it that Grandis gets medication from a pain management doctor in Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
I know in the state of Illinois, if you are receiving narcotics or pain medication from a pain management doctor,
You don't get it anywhere else.
you cannot get pain medication from a hospital, from a
Yes.
doctor. They have to
That's
contact that pain management doctor and
to
get
prescribe it.
his permission
Yeah.
to even give you like a shot in the
Yes.
hospital
Because
for
they do
pain.
not want to overdose you or get in the way
They
of that.
Right. They do not want to prescribe anything that's already been prescribed to the patient.
Yes.
So here
I,
in Illinois, the ER doctors are extremely, their laws are completely different than any other physician. An ER doctor is limited to how many narcotic pain medications they can prescribe in a month. If they
Lexi Texi, thank you for a membership. Sorry, I love you.
And that's perfect. Like I said, as sadly as it is, they have to control it because if they don't, then the epidemic of pills on the streets will get worse. So they have to be strict and they've got to control it and they got to make sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then the ER doctors, if they go over the prescribed amount that they are allowed to write in a month, they are put under a strict like audit of all their medications that they write out. And if they feel that they're over prescribing more than they are allowed to in a month, they put them on probation and they take their license and they have to wait for their license to come back.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Nice.
be it that Grandis is going to a pain management doctor in Wisconsin, I kind of feel the rules would be maybe similar in the state of Wisconsin. Then I don't think she got any pain medication at that
I don't think.
hospital.
I
I
don't think
think
there
they
was any
told her to
controlled
take
pain
some.
medicine.
Yeah.
I would
Right.
say that
Maybe she just
controlled.
got the shot. Like I said, just got the needle and maybe, like I said, Tylenol with codeine and that's it. Like,
They don't even give that out. That's
oh, they
not
don't. Okay.
controlled. They say Aleve, Advil, Tylenol.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
Or
might have given
sometimes
her
they'll give you that. It's like they give me when they give me a headache too. It's not.
Tramadol.
No, it's not. It's not even. It's no. I forget. It's like a migraine. They call it like a migraine, but it feels like an opiate, but it's not. It's kind of like tramadol, I think, but it's not tramadol.
But so she's going to this pain management doctor in Wisconsin. So I think she maybe got like
Toradol.
anti-inflammatory
Toradol.
and sent her on her way. Yeah, Toradol is very hard to
Makes
get.
you wonder if she went to the hospital because she generally her knee was messed up, or that was another alibi.
Right.
Like another place they can put themselves and be like, yes, at this time and this date, this woman was at the hospital. For all I know, the hospital appointment, all those sonics, they could have been pre-approved that they knew before that day that we're gotta hit so many spots to hit so many, so we can really get our face out there so people saw us in public. And like, it just feels very staged. Like I said, very staged.
Yes, I think so too, Precious.
What is your opinion, if you care for sharing? What do you think may have happened? If not, you can just tell me to shut up and I'll be okay with that.
No. I either feel that there was an accidental drowning and they panicked and didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel Kim in Dallas, I think she has a very valid point of Don seeing it, knowing it, and saying it. And I think Kim is also right too.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally, I don't think she's alive anymore.
No.
Unfortunately, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
sadly, no.
I feel sorry for Summer. She breaks my heart.
Yep.
And she deserved better. And I know those boys.
They deserve
know
better too.
Exactly what happened to
Yeah.
their sister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think if the
Summer
police could
saved
talk
them.
to those kids, those boys, that they would have the answers they need to this.
They might have an
They
idea, but they might
have
not, because I think that's why she didn't take the boys with her to the watering hole. She just wanted Summer.
Yeah.
That's just what makes me think that, because if it happened at the watering hole, like you say it is, that means the boys weren't around to see anything that happened. And that's what makes me uncomfortable. Like, again, I have two brothers. There was no way that if my mom was going to, take us out to do something fun like that she would take one of the kids and all three.
Not in a million years.
Thank you. She would take all of us. So that's why I'm like, I think that was also an alibi to keep the kids at home, because she probably knew that. So, there's something, I think it was I don't know, something makes me feel like it's staged, it's prearranged, meaning they knew before this happened that this was going to happen.
Right. And that's why I think what Kim says is kind of on base. I really do.
But that's what I'm
How could you know so much about that?
Even if it was an accidental drowning, how could they get in trouble for that? That does sometimes happen, where your child, you turn your back for a second. These things sometimes sadly happen. That doesn't make you a horrible person.
But
so
let me ask you this:
why would you jump and go?
What
Oh
if
my
this,
God.
Precious? What if this happened though? What if they were doing something in the bushes?
Right.
And
something illegal.
Summer's over there playing in the water, and they say, "Well, two of you were here. Why were y'all not here?" They were going to get neglect charges or whatever, at minimum, or what is it?
Endangering a child.
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
Charges or something, because you're not watching the kid. You're an adult there. That
or they were doing illegal stuff and they were under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a possibility I never thought of. If they were under the influence at the time, yeah, you're not going to call the police, because they're going to show up and be like, "Look at you,
you got a minor there. You got a minor there who's drunk."
That's right.
And if they're in the bushes doing drugs or something else, something could have happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it just seems interesting. Like I said, when she says, I left the boys behind to clean the house. Again, I'm thinking you did that deliberately, because, like I said, you knew
they absolutely
something was going to go on, and you didn't want the boys there, because that's more eyes that would have seen what you were doing. Three more people that would have been able to see what you were doing. Mm-hmm. They might have stepped in. They might have said something. That might have tried to, and yeah, it just seems odd. You leave your sons at home, but you go to pick up somebody else's son to take him to the watering hole, but not your own children.
Right.
It's just, like I said, it feels so staged, like pre-planned, pre-staged. It's not, it's just, yeah. And I think H had no idea on any of this. He didn't know anything about anything.
No, he was a ploy.
Yeah, I think he was like the alibi, the right along.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
agree.
Candace used him. Like Candace uses everybody for whatever she can use you for, to get her one step higher or to protect her butt. She don't care. She don't care if it's a
That's
kid.
interesting. Listen, here for chat said my nephew died from swimming in cold water. May 30th in India. I'm sorry to hear
I am
that. So I
so
guess we went into
sorry.
shock. I mean, could Summer have done that? You know?
But it seemed like a hot day, and we saw her with the TikTok video, and she seemed so active and happy, splashing and playing in that water. You didn't get any impression that she was any kind of, you know what I mean? That she was active. She's splashing and laughing and jumping and so I didn't really get the impression that the water was too cold and that she was feeling cold, because she was just right in that water like a dolphin.
None Beasley, could you wave?
But people who do those like polar plunges and the
Oh, that's the polar dive for
Can you
charity.
wave
yeah,
for me?
Yeah.
those are
Okay, there we
a
go.
lot of people have heart attacks from them. Their
So,
heart
Yeah.
actually stops.
Yeah. That's why they have ambulances on the beach for
On the,
people
yeah.
in case. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not unheard of.
Yeah. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just going off the TikTok video I watched of Summer playing.
Yeah.
I said, and she was playing, she was
But then
happy,
maybe
she was
she
jumping
was.
around, which didn't give me
Maybe
the impression that she was cold or she wasn't having fun. I gave the impression that it was a hot day, the water was nice, and she was having a fun time.
But maybe she was cold because then she was in that tracksuit.
yes.
But then it's still the thing with, why did Candace bring Summer's bathing suit to change in her bathing suit at Allie's house and not put the bathing suit right on from home? If we know we were going to water park, my mom would say, okay, we're going to go to the water park. Go put on your bathing suits and get your stuff. We're going to go. She wouldn't take us to like my grandma's or my aunt's and then change us there and them go there. That's the only thing that also boggles my head, is that you knew you were going to take Summer to the watering park, but you waited till you got to Allie's house to put on her swimming wear. Usually you put it on right from the house. Kids are excited. They put it on right from the house, and then
Right.
shorts and a t-shirt, and they go.
She's a little person too. She wouldn't be a hard person to change in a car.
Hey, Nunn Beasley, what do you, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for allowing me to come up.
Oh, you're more than
I've been following this case from the very beginning. I've been in some really good chat rooms like yours, and you know, a lot of the really good places, and I've been listening in the really dark places and taking notes everywhere. And my conclusion, or my opinion, is something that we've gotten away from, and I want to just bring it up right quick to y'all, just to see if anybody remembers back when Don said that he took the two oldest boys to work with him that day. That would leave one son at the house. When they were asked where that one son was, he was left at the house cleaning. That would be Waylon. He's the youngest son. Okay, all the children had their head shaved, at least the youngest ones for sure, like Summers. Okay, my thing is this: the night before Summer went missing, there was some kind of gathering, party, whatever you want to call it. One of Summer's little friends was supposed to spend the night.
Yes.
Something happened, and that little girl had to go home right away. Okay, in the picture, Summers bent over and looks like she's in some kind of pain in the picture, in my opinion. Okay,
Is that with them,
she
the
looks
ones of them outside?
Yes, yes, exactly. Okay, she looks very frail. She's kind of bent over in the picture. She just doesn't look right as Rain to me at all. Okay, my opinion is this: something happened that night. She was injured. It got much, much worse. The plan was, you know, put into move that Waylon was laying in the back seat, because that's who the tree cutter scene was, a child laying in the back seat. Okay, they didn't say for sure it was Summer or this one or that one. They said they seen a child asleep in the back seat when they left to go to the hospital that morning. My thing is this: I think that they left out and they took the two oldest boys with Dawn. I think Waylon was in the back seat of that truck with a blanket with the head shaved, just like Summers and the other brothers. And I think that they had to use the only person that they could use, that they could manipulate, which would be a 15-year-old child with drugs, alcohol, and the threat that, if he didn't help them some way, he was going to be, in trouble. Or maybe they told him that the kids did something to her, and, he needed to help them, or I don't know. But some way or another, they used that boy for an escape of saying Summer was there, when I don't think Summer was ever in that vehicle that day. I think it was Waylon.
Very interesting. I've never heard of this before.
That girl.
Well, let me
Jesus.
tell you, it's been 8 long months of listening in every chat room and studying everything that everybody said. And suddenly everyone got away from what Don said. He said in the very beginning, he took the 2 oldest boys to work with him. That leaves Waylon. Why would you leave the youngest child?
How old is Waylon? He was like 7, 8, right? 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, why would you leave Waylon at home to clean the house?
Just one moment. I want to read Vet Girl's chat, super chat. If your child passes and you follow your religious customs, do you have to reveal those customs, or does the U.S. Constitution protect your rights? Law enforcement has to determine if a crime is committed and or why you didn't report correctly. That is a very good question, Vet Girl. To be honest with you, I think that would be one for the Supreme Courts. That is a very tough, because you have any right as far as if you say it's your religious customs. But on the same hand, man, I don't know. That's a very good, I mean, say for instance, you're Jewish or Muslim, you're generally, Muslims, you're generally buried within 24 hours, by the next sunset. If there was a crime, could you argue to the police and they say, no, we need to keep this body? Could you say, no, we are doing this because of my religious customs? I want to bury my loved one because this is what they wanted. This is what we believe in. This is our religious customs. Wow. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That is the holdup.
I'm still confused why she would leave an 8-year-old boy at home to clean this house. This is what I don't understand. So so you take 2 boys to work and you do child labor with the 2 boys, which is against the law. They should have been in school. Then you left another kid at home who was 8 years old, who was a minor, and you got him to clean a house, and he was unsupervised. Like, can you just see the ripple effect of this? This makes no sense. You know what I could see, which would really break my heart? I could see the youngest getting upset when Summer comes back and she's all happy and she got to spend the day. And then Summer says, oh, we went and picked up H. And, meanwhile, the brother's like, what do you mean you went to pick up H to go swimming? Like, I was stuck here all day cleaning and you went to go swimming. Like, that is some messed up. I never even thought about that.
But you know darn well that he wasn't there cleaning.
But also,
I'm sure he was doing some things, because Jill's going to come back to try to look for something done.
We know that the boys did not go with Don.
Oh, they didn't? Okay.
We know that they didn't go with Don, though.
Wow.
That is what Hunter said. Candace said the boys went with Don to work. Because Hunter wanted to know, hey, where are the boys? Because
where's
the boys? You wouldn't think, there's just one kid here. that's another reason I think
Hmm.
he was Hunter was a ploy.
Oh, completely. Like used him completely for an alibi as part of this, and he didn't even know. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because that is weird. Like I said, you left your minor kid at home. The other ones go to work. Like I'm going. Why aren't none of these kids in school? Then again, it was summertime, wasn't it? No school in June. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, I'm like, why aren't these kids in school?
The thing that girl brought up about like religious customs, and like I know in the medical field, like doctors um have to respect people's customs, religious
Yes.
customs, and like you were saying about the Muslims before sundown, that is very correct.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but
Very customs.
if a child was brought in by, let's say, accidental drowning, the coroner is the one who has to sign off on the death certificate. If it's an accident within 24 hours of being admitted, it's under the coroner's investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to deal with the coroner.
As long as it wasn't foul play, it would be released before 24 hours. As long as it
I
wasn't
know,
foul
but
play.
let's say that there is suspected foul play.
Suspected,
Then
yeah,
they would
foul
probably like
play.
speed up them
Then they will
taking
not
the
sign off, and they
yeah,
will
they'll
not
probably speed
release
up
the
the
body.
process to do it. Yeah, so they can still release the body in a timely manner to them.
Right. So
Yep.
the law, I think the law over foresees the religious if they feel that there is
I don't know.
foul play.
That's I don't know. That's really tough though. I mean, we may think that the law, but your rights and laws are
Well, I'll give you. I'll,
really
well, I'll give you an example for. Okay, I'll give you an example. On the 7th of March, we had our first homicide. Sadly, the first homicide in my city. Okay, and when the news came on and they talked about it, they didn't skip a beat to say we are not going to tell you the name of the person due to the request of the family, because they want to contact other family members and tell them first how their loved one passed before they heard it on the news. They didn't release that man's name for like 4 days out of respect and request on the, like I said, the family saying, please don't say his name. But
exactly.
a couple of days, and the police had no problem, and they said, like I said, respecting the family, we will not say his name until they have the proper time to notify the rest of their family members instead of them hearing it on the news. I would see very well with something like that, religious customs, especially with burials. Our countries are pretty good with that. They really are. That I think, like I said, they would get it done in time for the person to be able to be properly buried the way their customs, need them to be buried.
But like that girl saying, a crime has to be determined first. The crime would overrule the religious customs. For instance, I had a Muslim man pass away on a Friday night, and he was a coroner's body, meaning that he had to go to the coroner for foul play. It was an elderly gentleman. He was family was being accused of elder abuse.
Elderly abuse? Oh no.
Elder abuse.
Oh gosh.
And he was Muslim. They wanted to put him on a plane and get him back to his country ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
But because they wanted to bury him within their religion, and the coroner would not release the body.
Yes,
And it was on a Saturday. So
I mean, generally, I think most people don't make a fuss about it. But I'm just saying, if somebody wants to make a big fuss about it, you could literally take that probably to the Supreme Court even.
yes, I'm sure you could.
Yeah, because
But they didn't want to push the charges, or didn't want to be the family.
Look at that girl. Look at Amish don't have a coronary and a death certificate.
Oh wow.
Yes. Amish don't take photos either. Never take a
No, they
photo of an
don't.
Amish.
But
Justin, forgive God forgive me for saying this, but I really truly don't believe religion has any impact in the Wells family at all, other than a front
That's it.
I believe he was sent there initially to the Baptist church to do his work release or whatever time he had to serve to the community. And when he got kicked out of there, then he ended up at the Seventh Adventist. So, I mean, I'm not trying to talk ugly about folks, but to me,
No,
religion is a pawn in
Oh,
their existence.
1000% in my opinion as well. But
Right.
regardless, it's still a valid, it's still valid even though it is a pawn. You know what I mean? As far
Oh,
as your
definitely,
constitutional
definitely.
right.
I mean, and you're
Like they're
totally right about the
trying to
Supreme
use
Court.
religion. Yeah, they were trying to use religion, but thank God we could realize by the way they talk and the way they act, you don't know God. You don't know anything about
Right.
it. There's Dawn at 57. I'm trying to learn the 10 Commandments. Dawn, I had the 10 Commandments memorized by my grade 2 confirmation, communion. I had mine memorized. You're at 57 still learning 10 Commandments. Like I said, that's why I sat there going, these people don't have religion. That was a front. That was, again, keeping appearances, keeping whatever. There was none there.
I just want to remind everybody from the get-go, they have passed the blame to their children. Their children were supposed to be watching Summer. The grandmother keeps passing the buck. Everybody's passing the buck except for the people who were supposed to be the attentive parents in this family. And we don't have attentive parents in this family. Never did, never would have, never could happen.
The only attentive person in this family there was Rosemary. That's it. Rose was the only attentive mother and proper person in this family, I believe, was Rose. She was a good mother. I know she was.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking.
Justin, what denomination is the church that they belong to?
They are Seventh.
Is it Baptist or Christian? I can't remember if it's Baptist or it's Christian.
No, they are Seventh-day
Evangelist?
Adventist or something like that.
Adventist.
Yeah,
Adventist. Okay.
It's a crossover from the Mormon religion. I mean, you can do your own studies. It's a very different process. They follow a spiritual leader, a woman named Helen or something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
my cup of
you're
tea,
right.
but
It's Helen, or I think it's Helen, or
something like that.
I was going to say Helen Keller for a second.
It ain't Jesus. That's what I know.
Could you imagine? Was it Helen and Frank, who wasn't a dad?
Forgive me, Lord. I'm sorry.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, I want to say I really enjoy your channel. I really
thank
enjoy
you.
your deep thought into everything that you do.
Thank
and,
you.
I always look forward to watching your channel.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
I really do.
All right.
You're always welcome up
I
here.
just wanted to tell you guys my opinion. This is the first time I've ever been on panel, and I'm going to jump down. I just wanted to share that with somebody. I've been sharing this whole information with my 85-year-old dad, and he looked at the picture. He's a retired state trooper, and he looked at the picture, and without me even telling him about Summer's case, I just showed him the picture, and he immediately felt that there was nothing good about that picture with the milk jug. So, everybody's got their opinions. I personally don't think the swimming video was taken on that day. I don't think the milk jug picture was taken that day. I'm so skeptical about everything that I don't ever think that Summer was in that vehicle with any of them that day.
Helen White. I think that is it. I think you're right. It's possible. It's possible.
They're the only ones that have the timestamps to the original creation of those.
I just feel really sorry for her brothers, because they'll have to go through their life thinking some way or another that they're some way responsible for their sister. And
Hold up. Listen to
nobody
this.
should ever.
Guys, listen to this. I just thought of that when you said that, thinking their whole life. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But you remember the interview with Don and Josie? Or is it Josie? What's his name?
Oh, the reporting one where he was standing beside his dad when he was talking to the news, and the whole time the kid's face was like looking down.
Yes, but what did he say? You know what he said in that one? He said, what did he say, chat? He said, it's not my fault or something like that. What did he say?
I gotta watch it again now.
What did he say?
I'm
I'm
sorry. I
sorry.
think it's not my fault.
Yeah,
I didn't
something like
mean
that.
I should have been watching her or something. I don't know, but they have pinned this whole thing off on the children. In my opinion, a parent, whenever anything happens to your child, I don't care if it's a skint knee, immediately you think about what you did that could have prevented that situation from happening to that child. You don't say, oh, well, you did that, or the other child, it's their fault. I mean, what kind of craziness are these people coming up with?
It is a lot to put it on to sit there as an adult and put it, if you know for a fact your kids didn't do it, and to put it
I
on your
mean,
own
did they
child.
not screw up these kids' lives bad enough?
Oh, yeah.
Did they not put enough on them?
Oh, boy, they've had
I mean, I just really hope that they never, ever have to deal with those two people ever again. And I hope truly to God that they find good, loving homes like yours. And
I think they are, from what I understand, they are thriving right now.
I feel, like I said, my vibe's always been that I felt like the boys were good, like they were in a good place, a safe place.
just for the record, I am a Summer. I grew up like Summer. I grew up locked in closets and being physically and sexually abused until I ran away at 13 and was in 28 receiving homes and 18 foster homes before I got in my foster mom, who made me the woman I am today. And I got into domestic violence and was shot between the eyes with a 38 Colt hollow point in front of my two children. So you can survive, you can make it through, you can be somebody, you can come out the other side no matter what you go through. But I know when somebody tells you that you love, that it's your fault that something bad happened.
It's kids stick with you and mess you up as a kid. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, much love to y'all, and I'm going to jump down. Thank you.
Nun.
Nice
Thank you for
meeting
coming up.
you.
Please come up again.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Look at Josh Duggar, just because you go to church. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no, we get that. But what we're saying is that was one of the things that Don kept going on. That was one of his platforms, was that we're religious, we believe in God, we're a religious family, we're religious. Like, he just kept going off on that. And like I said, you sit there and go, but nothing you have lived and nothing you have said gives us the impression that you are living a religious life in any way.
I'll see you in the resurrection.
Yeah, that was creepy when he said that. Dear Lord.
Yes.
No, you're not, Don. You're going to be a special place in hell. That's where you're going to be.
Don says Candace gives him an erection. I mean, resurrection. Sorry.
Dumb bitch.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Seriously, it is a little bit funny. I'm serious. I wish
Jailhouse
I could call Don and be like, Don, like I said, do you realize you're doing jail time right now because the bitch needed smokes?
Yes.
When are you gonna wake up? When are you gonna wake up? You're in jail because the bitch needed smokes. And the bitch is out there saying, I don't love him. I'm gonna fix up this house. Yeah, she probably wants to fix it up so she can probably turn around and try to maybe do a dirty sell on it. I wouldn't be surprised if she completely tries to F over Don. And then her grandma just hits the road and get the heck out, and they go back to Wisconsin. I wouldn't be surprised before he gets out of jail.
Cindy says Don has jailhouse religion. Give me that jailhouse religion. Give me that. Sorry. I gotta laugh or I'll cry. So, and that girl says, in my opinion, boys are being cared for. The boys need to heal. They need space and time to be normal boys. Amen. They never had. I mean, I agree, Vet Girl. Think about how
Never
these
had a childhood.
children lived. They never really had a nice meal, a nice wholesome home, stability,
A hot bath, dude, a hot bath.
just, drugs being all around the house. Random people being all around that house any day, sleeping over their orgies
Drinking,
and
doing drugs, I mean,
everything.
all of that. Those kids never had a childhood. Now they do.
I'm gonna
And I
tell you
know they're
something.
good because there was Candace said herself, the boys don't want to come back. But the boys don't want to come back. What's that tell you? That they like it exactly where they are, that they're safe and happy. Otherwise, they'd be like, Mom, I want out of here. Come and get me. These people are horrible.
Yes.
Candace said they don't want to come back. No, they don't.
Let me tell you something. Little Bear 78 never had clean bed sheets. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, and I think it is just such a luxury to have a nice warm bath or a hot shower and getting into fresh bed sheets. Oh, God, I love it.
That's why I shower every night. It's my favorite time to shower.
I
I want
love
clean
it.
body, clean pajamas, clean sheets. I'm just like I'm passing out like a baby. Good
And
night.
we are so lucky to have that. So lucky. I mean, seriously, because a lot of the world don't even have running water, let alone, warm water.
Like I said, Don's going to be in jail for another maybe 10 months. Like I said, what are they going to do? Put these kids on hold for 10 months and hope in 10 months that he gets out and then he goes to rehab? Like these children's lives been on hold for 8 months. You're going to put them on hold for another year, 18 months later? No, there's just no way. I'm sure they're in the process of doing the paperwork to legally remove custodial parent or whatever you call that, away from Don and Candace. I think that's even in the works right now, because again, they must have looked at Don when he went in jail and went, again, there's no way we can bring these kids back to this house. There's just no way this is ever going to happen. Dad's in jail for almost a year now. You can't freeze these kids' lives like that. So I hope they get the paperwork started, like I said, and take away their parental rights and let them be custody of the state. And hopefully, like I said, God bless.
Yeah, you're right, Vet Girl. People do live differently. People have different income. Children need love, not craziness, not hostility. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. I was raised, and I'm not joking, guys. I mean, a lot of my friends didn't believe me and stuff, but I was raised poor. Like, not even funny
I
poor.
believe
know
you,
what I mean?
Justice. That's the funny thing is, why would people say, "Oh, someone's going to make up a story about like being poor and stuff"? You know what I mean? It's funny.
Right.
People think that.
And like my grandmother made $650 a month. That was it. That was it. But I'm gonna tell you something. We had I mean, thankfully, we didn't have a house payment or anything. My grandfather died, and we had property and everything like that, but which was a blessing in itself. Otherwise, I don't think we could have made it. But I mean, we were very clean. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we had all the love I needed. You know what I mean? So my clothes were clean. My pants were even pressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, clothes on the back, food on the table, clean home.
Just because you don't have a lot of monetary means or anything, it has nothing to do.
It doesn't.
You can be class has nothing to do with money. Let me tell you that. Has nothing to do with money. You can make $600 a month and you can be very classy, I assure you. You know what I mean? And you can still hold your head high, and
Absolutely. I've said it before. I said poor doesn't mean dirty. People being poor doesn't mean people are dirty. That's
yes.
the decision they made. Okay, that's they thought that was okay. Because again, I've met many people that were poor. I walked into their houses were clean. You kidding me? I didn't walk into so that's why I said poor doesn't mean dirty, and people need to stop forgetting that. Just because people are poor doesn't mean that they're dirty. They have dirty homes and dirty clothes. No, this is these people because they're they're dysfunctional, abusive. That's what they're. And I wouldn't be surprised if probably Candace was raised in the same kind of environment. Candace probably provided the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised. Because, like I said, that woman can't keep up a house. She's a mother and she's a wife, but she could not even maintain a home. That probably tells me Candace's Grandis was probably the same way. Probably was a dirty place as well. Lots of stuff, people in and out. Like, I wouldn't walk into that place with a hazmat suit. Get out of here. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really sad, and the thing about it was Don and Candace weren't actually poor. Don made really good money. He made for the area that he
Oh
is
God,
in,
yeah.
excuse me, Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, he made good
Dudley
money.
said there were some weeks he was making $1,000, $2,000 a week.
Yes.
If that's the case, you're bringing in 5-6 grand a month. My God, that house should have been gone, and you could have a nice 3-4 bedroom house with that kind of money.
Absolutely.
Like, are you kidding me?
But I really believe also, in a sense, poor is not poor. I don't want to say the word poor.
It's a
It's just
mentality thing. It's a
it's just a
mentality thing. Yeah.
toxicity in your head to live that way, and you should want your kids to live in a clean environment. Have a little pride in what you have. So, not nobody's saying it has to be perfect, because nobody has anything that's perfect on this earth, in my opinion. But um, I think when you're constantly in that cycle of drugs, 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 all your money, all your energy, all your mental and physical capacity keeps pushing toward the drugs.
And with them, their addiction started as teens, young teens. Their addiction started. So the addiction started at a very young age. It's not like they were parents and then they had addictions. They had addictions from like teen years all the way through into their adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol and the drugs.
Yes. Average income below poverty level, below 12,000 and one half. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, just the drugs, and in life, it's about priorities. If you want to make it a priority,
Yeah.
you'll make it a priority.
They were selfish. They were selfish people. They could not be selfless and put the needs of their kids and anyone else before them. They were selfish, horrible addicts. Like literally, there's no other way to say it. Like for you to feed your addiction before you feed your children, you need help.
Mm-hmm.
Like to allow yourself to get high and allow all these people around you. Like I said, I can't imagine what those children seen and what they went through. But it's just heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that, if adults want to live in that, that's one thing. But if you have kids, in my opinion, that's another.
That's the moment you learn to be selfless, and
Yes.
like I said, your children go before you. You don't go before your needs. Don't go before your
Exactly,
children.
precious. Don't procreate and make kids suffer, while you're, running the roads hot for drugs and everything else. Listen, like, let the kid have a good life. Put the child up. I respect people tremendously if they say, you know what, I cannot provide for this kid. I cannot give this kid a good life. But I know that there's people out there who want to give this kid everything under the moon that they can give them, with love and everything, and give the kid up.
That's
You know what I
see,
mean?
that's being selfless. See what I mean?
Yes,
That's a person being selfless, doing what's best for the child, not what's best for them.
that's what love is. It's a selfless act. I think there's times in parenting you're thinking, oh my God, I'm so freaking tired right now. I don't want to do anything, but I swear I can be so tired getting off work or whatever, and I'm just like halfway dead. You know what I mean? And I'll pick up my kids and they jump in the car.
Changes everything.
It changes everything.
Yep, everything.
Every freaking day it changes everything. I get
Mm-hmm.
this boost. It's like
Euphoric, happy energy. You're like right back up again. You're like,
yeah,
this is what I'm living for.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's 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 to me it's not even like a euphoria. It's just this primal energy, that you have to care for these kids, and everything. It's just amazing.
Not everybody has nurturing. Not everybody has that nurturing capability, and they don't realize. And Candace doesn't have it, but she didn't realize you don't have it, but you keep having kids. But again, if you don't have done that nurturing ability, you're like disconnected the entire time.
Mhm.
You're not bonded with your kids.
But I will say this, Grandis, I mean, I don't know Grandis's childhood, but Grandis, in my opinion, never had nurturing energy
Oh, absolutely not.
whatsoever. To me,
No.
Grandis is more masculine than feminine. Um,
God, she's so cold. I just look at her and I just see like steel cold veins, just like,
yes, yes.
wow.
I mean, she may have had a hell of a childhood too, but I don't think Candace ever got any nurturing, and I feel bad for Candace in that area. I feel bad for Grandis in that area if she didn't get it. Especially because it's hard to give something you've never had,
Mhm.
unless you really want to learn,
Right.
and
Right.
go through it. But
And it is surprising, like I said, that they have this relationship because you think, like I said, with all this stuff her mother put her through as a child, you think she would have grown up and been like, I want nothing to do with you. Like I said, you were supposed to protect me, you didn't. All these horrible things happened to me. You think
Mhm.
she would want nothing to do with her mother. But
Right.
yeah, it's a really crazy relationship. Like I try to understand it going, how can you still forgive her for what she did to you that you still want to talk to her and hang out with her and be with her? I would be keeping it very minimal with that.
Yes. Yes. So I don't think Candace was I think Candace was still very childlike in her mental capacity, and I think that's why she always needed, particularly an older man, she needed someone to take care of her because she still felt like a child herself. So,
Right. Like she didn't fully mature and grow and learn responsibilities and such. Yeah. I
yeah.
could see that as well.
Yeah. Let's see here. Everyone wants answers from law enforcement, but the DA or federal prosecutors have. That's right. That's true. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And, you know, whatever happened to Summer, I just want her found. And if she is gone, I want her to be laid to rest with some dignity. And I want the people held accountable, whoever did it. So I'm sorry about that, lost souls. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's all I want to. I just want justice. I want somebody to be found, and I want justice for her and justice for her brothers as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so very much for the time, but I need to get going. It's getting a bit late. I got a few things I got to do.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank
So
you so much for your
only
time.
2.5 hours. Thank you, Precious, for coming up.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to come up. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, chat. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate each of you for being here. Yes, I agree, Lori. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for just being here and caring about these victims and the tragedy that goes on every single day. Although we've all had tragedy in our life, at least we've lived through it, and I think that's the thing that we can really understand is we've at least lived through it. Some of these kids, they didn't even get a start. So I appreciate it. I appreciate, again, just being here. If you guys haven't hit the thumbs up button, I would greatly appreciate it. Really helps my channel. Subscribe if you haven't, notification bell. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for the super stickers, the super chats. Thank you, Vet Girl, tremendously. Thank you all. God bless each and every one of you. Hold on, let me read this. Let's see. Isn't just criminal aspect. No one should be charged with anything. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Love you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.